Hello guys, today I have a job to do and I'm sure it happened to some of you sometime or somehow in your life. Last week I was parking my truck and since it was dark, it was snowing, I was not seeing very well when I was backing up in the driveway, so I decided to open my window. And if you have the automatic button which stay engaged until the window is fully up or fully down depending what you're doing, you know that option is fantastic. And this thing is supposed to stop or disengage when the window is forcing or is getting into, like, if a children put his head in the window frame and hit the button, it will stop before injuring the kid. But I don't know why this function didn't work when I tried to lower down the window. There was a little freeze around the window frame, so the window didn't want to budge. I didn't bother hitting back the button because I was certain the automatic option will disengage by itself, but it didn't. So something broke on the window regulator and now my window is stuck down. When I try to rise it, it's going down anyway. So I ordered a part at Rock Auto as usual. So before starting the job, I will show you how the window regulator works. So if you have the same issue with your F-150 09 to 14, you will know at least how this thing works, so you won't have any surprise if you have to install one. So now you can see straight away there's a curve in the regulator. It's two part with some cable. Look weird, but it's very simple. The curve is obviously the curve of the door and the window. So at the moment, if you look at the door, this is the outside of the door, because as you can see the curve is that way, the same side as the window, because I don't know if you notice, but there's a curve in your window. It's not a straight piece of glass. So this is the outside, and the window go in those two notches. And the way it work, let's say you want to rise your window. Your window is down and you want to rise it. You activate the motor and it's spinning this way clockwise. If you want to rise the motor, is spinning clockwise, so it pushing the cable here. So the cable push up, rising this first support, then it go behind the pulley, going down here, go under this pulley and push this second support up, then go over the other pulley and go back into the motor, going clockwise, and do it again until the window is up. And it is the opposite when the window is going down. There's only 4 mount or 4 bolt, 2 on each side, this one being a nut and this one being a bolt. So it should not be a big job to install it. So let's jump to it right away. But before playing with the new hardware or the new parts, first thing to do is to remove the door panel. It seems like a big job, but it's pretty easy if you don't forget the screws, because if you forget the screws you will work hard for nothing and you might break something. So there's not much screws. You got one here. Sorry, I got snow because just remove the snow around the door. You got one screw behind this little tab here. I will show you how to remove it. You have another screw behind this plate, this plastic plate here. I will show you how to remove it as well. And you got another screw here and another one here. Those I believe are, what is the size? That's a 6 millimeter, and those behind I will confirm it to you in a second, but I believe that those two are 8 millimeters. But let's just start by removing those. So yeah, I have a couple of hook tool here. This one won't do the job. Probably this buddy here. There we go. I got one here. It's pretty dirty in there. Yeah, it looks like it's an 8 millimeter bolt. Yeah, it is. And the other one behind, I don't suggest you try to pry out around the edges here, because you will scratch all your door panel trying to do it. So this tool here will be very helpful. Sorry, I got only one end. It's pretty up close view, but the best way is to hook up the panel from here, so you won't scratch anything. If you happen to scratch something, it won't show because it's behind the door handle. And I'm using this hook tool, but if you don't have one, what I used to do before having those tools is bending a nail. It's pretty easy to bend a nail, and you can, let me just pull that, and I just lock the door. And unlock the door. It's pretty tight though. It's in winter, I don't want to break anything, because when it's frozen it's tighter. As you saw, it's pretty easy to remove. I got the other 8 millimeter here. I will unlock the door. So I got one 8 millimeter here, one there, and two 6 millimeters on the bottom of the door. After that, it should almost fall into my hands. So let's remove those bolts. You pull or push or pull, depending on where you are, this door up, and then you have some things to disconnect behind. As you can see here, I have a connection for the windows door lock. Here it's the mirror switch, and here is the cable for the door handles. I can't show you when I'm disconnecting because I need both ends, but it will be very fast. I don't know if you can see, you have a tab here, you have a tab here. So to remove that, you need to push those tabs to push out this pin. After that, you just unhook the door handle. I believe my camera was not working when I disconnect this, so I will show you when I will reconnect it. But as you can see, I pinch the two tabs on both sides, I pull the cable out, and then you just move on the side to unhook the door handle. I will show you when I will install it back. Now it's time to remove the electric connectors. Start with the shorter ones. Sometimes it's very tight, sometimes not that much. Those are very easy to disconnect. You always have a little tab to push, like this one. It's this one here. This one was this side, and this one is here. So you push the tab and you pull. Will be the same to the mirror on top. There we go, and just like that, the door panel is loose. So I'll put this on the side. So at this point, if you want to replace the speaker, you have the speaker in your face, so it's very easy to do it. The seal is behind the speaker. Since I want to access the regulator, I need to remove this plastic, so I will remove the speaker as well. I have other connectors here, obviously the speaker connector. The cable is very short, but again you can see that it's only a matter of pushing the tab and pulling out the connector, and just like that you have the speaker. I will put that in a safe place. So now I need to remove, I believe I will need to remove the handle bracket because the plastic is underneath it. But apart from that, the only thing left will be the glue, which is kind of urethane seal. 8mm as well. Yes. Even if those are 8mm, they don't have the same length as the one I previously removed from here and from here, so make sure not to mix them up. The same for the speaker screws, and they're the same as the two screws that holding the bottom of the panel. There we go. Now I can't remove the plastic. Usually it's pretty messy to remove this. And kind of hot here. You see, now it's good since I have the lower bolt of the regulator plus the top bolt on both sides. I can work with that. I don't need to go any further in the door. But this is the connector for the window motor regulator, so we need to pull this one as well. The tab is on the top, so you push the tab, you pull on a connector. So I believe now is the only wiring left. Not sure this is why, maybe for a sensor for the airbag in case of a lateral hit. Not sure, I won't touch it. This might be a problem later. This is one of the holder for the door bracket. These haven't budged, but this one did, so I will push this little piece of metal here in a hole so it stay on its place. I will need both ends for that, but I'm pretty sure you can see what I will do without injuring myself with it, obviously. There we go. Now it don't move, you stay at this place. This is the goal. This one's good, this one's good. Can move it a bit to make sure it doesn't move. This one's a bit loose. Will it get out? Nah, seems fine. Okay, so now you can see where the window is holding in the regulator. There's one bolt here. It's just pinch between those two teeth and rubber, and there's another bolt here, this holding the window, and I will lose this in the first step so I can raise the window and hold it up with a rubber wedge, because if I unscrew the regulator just now, the window might break if it hits something in the door. So the first step is to unscrew both sides of the holder and raise the window, or basically remove the window from our way. It's very not an easy access. don't need to remove the bolt completely, just loose these clamps so I can remove the window. And make sure you don't hit the window with the tip of your wrench, because those windows are pretty fragile. There we go. Now I have this rubber wedge, so what I will do, I will raise the window and I will place my rubber edge here. And when the window is out of the clamp, make sure not to drop it, because as I said, it's very fragile window. And you obviously need to rise straight. And only with the weight of the window it shall hold. But now I need to spread the rubber. As you can see, I made a gap with my tool so I can get my shim in. It's going down a bit. Come on, stay there. As you can see, the weight of the window is holding the shim. Of course, if I push very hard, it will go down, so still need to be careful. But at least now the window is holding, I can work down there. So now I can remove those bolts. But though these on top no need to be removed completely, just loose enough so they can get out in this hole. So I just need to remove the nuts on the bottom, lose these two on top, and it should get out with some magic, because still long bars to get into this hole, but shouldn't be a big deal either. But now I need this 10mm socket. And again, those things are not very tight. So just a regular 3/8 ratchet will do the job just fine. No need a deep socket either for this, because the stud not sticking out and long enough to require a deep socket. And when you're working on this thing, it's a good idea to keep an eye on the window, make sure it doesn't going down slowly or getting loose from your wedge, because the last thing you want is broke the window. It's wiggling a lot, and I'm trying to not make any hard move or knock the door if I can avoid it, so the window don't come loose. Put more in there. And the second one is here. Need to loose this one again a bit. Some people just use tape to hold their window up. don't like using tape, sticking this on my paint. This one is tighter. Oh, I just realized I have a bolt that holds the motor here, so I need to remove that bolt as well. This is the reason why this one won't come out. And as you can see, I have my hand inside, so if by any bad luck the window fell, at least I will be able to catch it with my hand instead of watching it hit the bottom of the door and broke. There we go. Now it should come way easier, or come out way easier. It's all loose, and the fun part is, since it's only cables that sticking both bracket together, it's pretty easy to let them out. So, that should come way easier. There we go. So as you can see, guys, it's not very hard. I believe it's take more time removing the door panel and the plastic than removing the rail and the window regulator itself. The bolts are already there, so I'll put this one in first without scratching my door. There's already grease on it, so you don't need to grease anything. Was just going very slowly because I didn't want to scratch the window. This one is in. You saw I put the bolt in first. After that, the stud just got in the hole by itself. Since I already have the hole here for the motor, I will put it in right now so it won't move anymore, just by hand. Now at least this one won't move. Now I will put the other one in. Again, you insert the top nut in the hole and the stud fell in its place pretty much instantly. So the nut that you keep, you can reinstall them right away. There we go. Now I will remove my wedge and drop the window in the clamp. They're already a little open. As you can see here, the clamp is open, so I can just sit the window in it. The same the other side. As you can see, it's a U shape, so the window is sitting in the rubber and not on the bolt. But it's kind of an heavy window anyway, so you don't waste too much time before you tighten it, so the rubber doesn't tear up and the window doesn't go down any more than that. So next step is to take the window down. For this step, you need to make sure your hands are not greasy because you don't want to drop the window. And after you saw the bottom here, it's way easier because you can control it. It's in, it's very easy. Since you have the rail on each side, the windows slide directly into the clamp on both sides. Now the only thing left is to tighten those clamps the same way I lose them. Now both clamp are tight, the window doesn't get out. We can put everything back together, but don't forget to connect anything, starting by the motor of the window regulator. Make sure it is connect solidly at this place. You can do a visual inspection as well, make sure you haven't moved any nuts. So now it's the plastic, make sure all the connectors are out. You don't want to trap a connector behind the plastic, but usually you always have like a tear in the plastic like that, so if you forgot a connector, it's not very far behind, but it's best to avoid forgetting anything behind. Easier this way. So as I said, since it's cold here, probably my plastic won't stick very well, so it was this way. Again, if you're not sure which way it goes, when you remove it, you can take a picture before so you put it back the right way. So now we can put back the speaker. Don't forget to connect it before. It's easy to forget because it's black, the wire, the harness is black, and it's very short. I'll put it back the original speaker since they're working well. I haven't blew up any speakers, so there's no point in replacing them. I will reconnect the harness of the electric window so I can test that window. Harness are not very long. While I'm here, I will connect the mirror switch as well. So here is down there, so you might need to bend. It's very short harness, and as you can see, there's not one connector that's the same, so you cannot mismatch them. I need to be even more closer than that, so come on, baby. The small one for the door lock, it's in. Okay, now we'll only left the cable for the door handle, but now we'll put the keys in the ignition. And see if this window's working. Hit the button, the window is lifting up fully. It's working perfectly. So this is the cable. So first step is to not first step is to hook up the cable. First step is to hook up the cable in the handle. When I removed that, I took out the blue clip and I unhooked the cable from the handle, but now it's the opposite. You hooked up in, you pull in the blue clip, and you just pushed it in the holder. Now it's tight there, it won't go anywhere. So what I did when I removed that is I pinched the two tab on this side and I pulled on it, but now everything is at its place. So the only thing left, it's make sure all the hook, like this one, like those in front, make sure all the hooks are at the right position and push the door down at its place. But now I need both hands to do that. Thing is, you need to make sure the door lock button is getting in. No, now it's in. I can hook top all that. Let's go down, let's go down. I'm at the right position here as well. Everything seems fine. So I can see the hole of my 8mm bolt here. Same on the handle. Let's see at the bottom. Yeah, they're aligned with the hole. So last step to do is installing those last screws, bolt and screws, and the job will be done. There you go, the door panel is at its place. I can now reinstall the little tab. With big hand, it's hard to go down, but yeah, you just need to push on it and it get in its place. If you look at this one, if you remember the way you remove that, this tab go on the left behind that door handle. You also have 3 clips. It's just a matter of pushing them in place. So 3 clips are in the position. Now I want to show you something before ending this video. Some people remove this section to disconnect the switches, the electric window, door lock, etc. It's, as you saw, it's very not necessary because there's a big chance that you will damage the plate and or the door panel itself. So unless you have a problem with the switches and you need to replace the switches, there's no need to remove this plate from the door panel. You just need to disconnect everything from behind that hole. So now we will test it again, make sure it's working. Automatic, will it stop by itself? I don't hear any braking sound. As you can see, it's working well now. So this is how you replace a window regulator on a 09 to 14 Ford F-150. So on this, I wish everybody a great day. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the little notification bell so you will be notified as soon as I will release another video on my Ford F-150 or any other topic.